masks on, tops off. You know what I'm talking about. That gun-shaped state, the place where Flo Rida is from, where they got them apple-bottom jeans, and the boots with the fur. I went to Florida. And as I was there, it became the epicenter of the pandemic. What? Yeah, yeah, yeah. The quote that I mentioned in the beginning of the podcast, masks on, tops off, comes from a local Florida strip club. I really don't know what to say about it. It's clever. And that can sum up my trip in a few words. But take the quote as you may. If I had a chance to do my yearbook quote during the pandemic, that's what my quote would be. And I'm happy to share that information. So I went down to Florida for a week to visit family, and I feel like I went to a foreign country. That's how different they do things there during this pandemic. It's insane to me. Everything's open. And at this point, Florida should just secede. They should just leave the United States. They should just depart. Take their bags and just leave. Just leave. I'm from Jersey, so everything in Jersey is totally different. I know they just started opening things up here. I don't know if they're closing again. I don't know what the deal is. But before I went to Florida, everything was like takeout and like curbside pickup and delivery. Not even takeout. Takeoff. The guy from Migos. No. Yeah, so it was like curbside pickup and delivery, and you couldn't go in anywhere. No recreational places are open. No gyms or Dave & Buster's or the mall. Nothing like that. Only, places that supply food and supermarkets, car shops, like the absolute necessities. So it was really insane going down there because everything, it's literally back to normal there. Like it's like how life was before COVID, with some people wearing masks. Like everything is open. Dave & Buster's, the mall. I have the perfect analogy for this. So in New Jersey and other states, it's like there's an ambulance coming and we're staying pulled over until this ambulance completely passes. And in Florida, they're like, you want to race? They're trying to race COVID. It's like Fast and Furious 57. Like, who will win this race? COVID or Florida? Surprisingly, getting there was really simple. Like, air travel was super simple. Everything was quick. They don't have full capacity on the planes, of course, and then there's the middle seats are open. So it was really quick and sufficient, and I was really nervous about the traveling aspect of it, but that went very smoothly. If any of you were worried or were planning to take a trip, it's actually not bad out there. You just have to be careful. Wash your fingers, wash your toes, and cover your mouth. Come on now. So the first night we got there, it was me and my sister, and it was our stepbrother and his girlfriend. And we wanted to celebrate my sister's birthday and my stepbrother's girlfriend's birthday. So we went to the sugar factory, and that's open there, which is insane. And the sugar factory is in this like megaplex with a casino and a hotel attached to it. And they had like stores. It's like Atlantic City, sort of. And I could not believe my two peepers. Like, there were kids there. There were women in bathing suits floating around. So we went to the sugar factory. And that place is known for its drinks that have dry ice in it. And when you pour liquid into it, the gaseous, gaseous substance comes out. And they're very pricey. They don't like to put the prices on the menu, which that's very sketch matech. And when people don't put prices on the menu, just know it's expensive. That's the reason why they do that. But they didn't fool me, because I asked the lady, I said, how much is this fishbowl? Which is honestly, it's on the smaller side. In my opinion, I've seen bigger fish bowls. I've seen smaller fish bowls, but that was smaller. And she's like, oh yeah, it's like $45.99. I was like, what'd you say? She's like, yeah, it's like $45.99. What? $45.99. Something like that. It was in the 30 to 40 range, but best believe if it's in the $40 range, I'm not getting it. I'm going to go home and get a bag of dry ice, get some alcohol and some frozen berries and put that together myself, because there is no way, even though I'm on vacation, I'm still saving that money. You know it. I'm saving that money. I'm always saving that money. I don't care if I'm getting married, I'm saving my money. Come on. But one thing I really did enjoy is that they have the waiters and waitresses dance to songs. They do like the TikTok dances where they have like just very minimalistic kind of like moves. They have, my lip gloss is popping, my lip gloss is cool. And then when that song happens, there's like a stomp in it. It's like a doom doom. It's like, my lip gloss is popping, my lip gloss is cool, doom doom. They have that thing. They have like a very loud like doom doom noise in that song, and they have like the waiters and waitresses stomping to it, and I thought that was awesome. And every time I was eating, I would have to stop because I had to see what was going on, even though they did the dance like 4 or 5 times while I was there. And it was also dine-in, which is crazy. I think you probably get that it was dine-in by now, but it was dine-in, which is crazy because you don't see that here. You do not. I've been just ordering from the Chicken Shack, in my house, pretending I'm at the Chicken Shack. It was crazy. It was a really crazy change of scenery there. And they also danced to I'm a Savage. Something bougie ratchet. That song by Meg Thee Stallion. They were dancing to that, and they were doing like the hands by the ears, like ha ha kind of thing. And I thought that was awesome. And in the back of my mind, I said I would love to do this job because of that by itself. That was fantastic. And guess how much money I spent? I'll give you a second. A grand total of $8.50. Bitch, are you for real? What? Always saving that money. What? Always saving that money. You know it. Your girl ordered a friggin' side. Not even an appetizer. A side. And I spent single digits, baby. Single digits. Because they're friggin' chicken parm that I wanted. And I said, you know what, Mary? Just live your life. You're on vacation. Sort of. You're on this COVID vacation. Spend $40. Enjoy yourself. But how good could that be? From a place that sells drinks with dry ice in it. Think about that. And I left there with no regrets. I friggin' teared when I left that place because my bank account looked the same. Pretty much, man. I lost only like $10 because I gave a tip. Maybe more than that, because I know people are going to be like, oh, you only gave $1.50 tip. Like, I'm not going to tell you how much I tipped her. She was a great waitress. I gave her probably a little bit more. And when we were leaving, the casino was open. And that boggles my mind. And they had the people giving out the little chips and the money and stuff like that. They were encased in glass. So at the tables, it was like a circular glass, circular plastic like thing that dropped down on the person that was giving out the chips and the money. Or if they do the money, only the chips, never mind, just the chips. It was just so weird to see. There were like glass covers for the people who give out the money as well. Like glass walls in front of them. So that was really interesting. Like, is it worth it? Is it worth it to gamble? Like that's a crazy gamble. You're not gambling for money, you're gambling for COVID. You're gambling for COVID. But, I can't really say much because I was literally looking at them doing it and I wasn't winning money. I was gambling COVID with no chance of winning money. At least they're gambling COVID and there's a chance they could go home with some money in their pocket. Maybe catch COVID, maybe not. But maybe they'll have some money in their pocket. But wow. That people did that not on vacation. Just boggles my mind a little bit, And then after that, we went back to the house. So I stayed with family. It was my stepdad, my brother, my stepbrother, and my stepbrother and his girlfriend, and their son, who is a toddler. So we watched a lot of Days of the Week, Days of the Week, Days of the Week, Days of the Week. Yeah, there's this one lady, there's this one woman that he watches on YouTube all the time, and she does all of that stuff. She, changes staples in pop culture and turns it into children's songs. And that's still in the back of my mind, that song. And every time I have a free moment, I'm thinking about Days of the Week. And there was a commercial for Snackies, which is a cup that has a compartment for your drink and then a compartment for your snacks. And that's great for children, but I think it's even better for adults. Come on now. If somebody gets me a Snackies for Christmas, it's going to be my favorite gift. Gift, not grift. What is going on today with me mouth? But yeah, Snackies rock, man. They just had little kids sitting there with their Snackies, give me a Snackies, and I can use that anywhere and everywhere. I'll have my Snackies at family outings, barbecues, sporting events, graduations, baptisms. I'm going to have my Snackies. We also watched Ratatouille, and I know a lot of young girls look up to, Cinderella and Belle, and that's, they want to be a princess like that. For me, I always resonated with Ratatouille, man. That's me. That little chubby rat is me. Whenever I'm making pasta, I'm thinking about making a creme brulee. I'm envisioning that. I'm smelling that when I make pasta. It. If I could choose to be any of those Disney characters, I'm going to be Ratatouille. That's going to be my friggin' avatar, is going to be Ratatouille. Or Forky. Those are the characters that I am. Those are the ones that I can compare myself to. That I feel closest to. Ratatouille shows us all that no matter what you are, you can eat delicious food. And for me, for anybody, what is there not to like about that? Ratatouille is my hero. I wish I had a rat that made me dinner like that, man. I think we would have a much better relationship with rats if they made us dinner. I also saw that they even have TGI Fridays open. And why would you risk getting COVID at TGI Fridays? If you're going to risk it, go big or go home. Go to somewhere that's, you're getting that good food. Risk it for the biscuit. Only for the biscuit. So, I mean, that would be a real, getting COVID is a travesty, but then getting COVID at TGI Fridays, that's just an absolute tragedy if that were to happen. So I went to Red Robin, and that was also dine-in, and there was nobody in there. There wasn't even 6 feet apart because there was only us in there and a few other groups of people, but way spread out throughout the whole restaurant. And so I ordered a burger, and I get that $6.95 burger. I'm saving that money again. And I ordered my burger, and I always inspect my food because I'm infamous for having hair in my food nonstop. So apparently people like to throw funny items into the dishes that I eat, so I just have to be very careful. So I am, and I was analyzing this bread, and then I found out that there was a green spot on it. And I was maybe something dripped off it. And then I was nah, this is definitely mold. And then I told the waitress, and she was oh, That's awful. And I'm like, yeah. And then she took it back and she's like, do you want another one? And I'm like, yeah, because I can't resist. So, I got that free burger. I got that free burger. And then the manager came over and he was like, I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. I'm going to give you the burger for free because of how awful we feel. And I was like, oh, yes. Oh, yes. And guess what the grand total of that was? $0.00. I left there with a free burger. What? I literally spent $8.50 on 2 meals. $0 there. But I gave a tip because I'm a good person. Even though they tried to feed me moldy bread, I gave them a tip. But I left there friggin' $2 less in my bank account. $2 only. Moral of the story is I ate for free and I saved more money. That manager was really nervous though. He thought I was a serial yelper or something because he ran over there as fast as he could. I'm surprised his shoes were still on his feet. But because you got to watch with white people, man. We're always yelping about something. So I'm trying to get on that Yelp, because I've had a lot of bad experiences. So I got to start voicing my opinion before it builds up, I don't want to have a Yelp explosion. I need to be able to Yelp when the time is right. And I don't like to do it, but sometimes people force my hand. Like the one time this one guy at Dallas Barbecue would not give me water. I asked him 3 or 4 times nicely, and he just started to ignore me, and he wouldn't give me water. I could have died of dehydration. But he's lucky I forget things, and I didn't know his name. So I didn't Yelp about it, but I Yelped about it to all my friends. They know about it. They're not going to forget it, because I told them about it multiple times. I remember he even rolled his eyes when I would ask for the water. Like, he was so annoyed with me, and I don't even know what I did. It could have been my birthday that day. It could have been my birthday. Do better. Do better. Speaking of doing better, we also have a pool at the house, and the second day we got there was a hole at the bottom of the lining. Like, it was a very small hole, and then it just opened up. And my stepfather was trying to use flexi seal on it. And that's crazy because those commercials show the dude slapping flexi seal on his boat, on his car, on fans that hang in your kitchen. I mean, really heavy duty items. He's just slapping flexi seal on it. And to be honest, if I own a boat, I would get flexi seal and just use it because it's probably a cheap option. And if it works, why are you going to question it? But my stepfather tried to use flexi seal and it didn't work. So I'm going to pull that kid from college. I want to pull that kid from college and his mother. I want to pull one of those, and I want to sue the guy who does the commercials for flexi seal. Because, my friend, that is false advertising. You mean to tell me you can seal up a boat with flexi seal, but you cannot seal up the bottom of a pool? I think not. Moral of the story, my boat would have sank if I used flexi seal. So I don't recommend. 0 out of 10. Me and my sister also got extremely sunburnt. We got that red glaze. We got that top tan, which is only the shoulders. I just wanted to get a little biscuity look, a little golden biscuit look for my face. That's all I wanted. And no, I have extremely tan shoulders now that nobody will see. Some other highlights, I tried longboarding, and that was fantastic because I always loved skateboarding when I was little. I wanted to be a professional skateboarder for some time. I remember having this really miniature skateboard, and I went down this really steep sidewalk to ShopRite. I must have been 12 or 13, and I was flying. I thought the wheels were going to fall off of that skateboard. But I made it all the way down with no knee pads, no helmet. And I can do an ollie on a skateboard. I can go down a driveway on a skateboard. So I had full confidence when I was trying this longboard, and I had my stepbrother. Why do I keep saying brother like that? Brother. Um, he showed me how to do it, and I was just California boarding it up, man. I was doing the turns and putting my feet sideways, and that's what you do when you're on some kind of board like that. And he would do this thing where he would like grab me and he would skate with me and then push me really far ahead. So I was really flying, really flying. I had to go over a bump and I was terrified, but I relaxed my feet in time, so I went over the bump peacefully. There was one time though I was going really, really fast, and you know when somebody says "whoa" like that, that's what I look like. I was just my back foot was too far to the right, and my back foot was too far to the right, and my front foot was too far to the left. So I was just like swerving back and forth the whole time, and I thought that was the end. It was downhill for me because I was literally one twig away from death. I also watched the first episode of the Epstein series on Netflix, and then I ended up watching YouTube videos about conspiracy theories and the Illuminati. So that whole night, I was walking around with a fist in my hand because I was on edge after watching all that. I was a little nervous, and I was keeping my eyes peeled because if I watch things at night like that, it gets me nervous. So I really shouldn't, but I do anyway. But some of those YouTube videos really have you thinking about things, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Crazy stuff on the interwebs. Crazy, crazy stuff. My stepbrother's girlfriend was telling me about all that Wayfair stuff that's happening. About you gotta Google it. It's really crazy. But if any of you are into that, let me know. Because I was never really into that stuff. But I do like to get people's opinions and perspectives on it. And if there's videos that you think are good or interesting, let me know. Because I'm always willing to hear things out. So hit me up about that. I love to talk really about anything. So slip into my DMs. But if you're a sugar daddy, don't do that. Don't do that. But I am always down for a good conversation. And I think, regardless of what's true and what's not, a lot of it makes you think. And an update, I still can't breathe through my nose underwater. I always try, and it never works. I just end up coughing up all the water that goes in through my nose. I guess I just have to resign myself to the fact that I can never do one of those super cute underwater photo shoots, those seductive photo shoots where you come out of the water and it's just you and your face. Me, I'll come out of the water, I'll have goggles on my face. I guess that's just what it's gonna have to be. When I go out in my 30s to the beach, I'm gonna have to slap some goggles on. That's just what it's gonna have to be. And that's okay. I've accepted it. I've just come to the conclusion that when you see me now, in 10 years, whenever, 60-year-old woman, I'm gonna have goggles on my face. And not the goggles with just the eyes, the goggles with the nose, because that's what I struggle with. And I have 2 astigmatisms. So anything helps. I remember 4 or 5 years. How could I ever forget this, actually? How could I ever forget this situation? 4 or 5 years ago, I went to Tennessee to visit family down there. And it was me and the family outside. And then my stepbrother was like, hey, do you want me to John Cena you into the pool? And I'm always down for a good time. So I said yes. And he grabbed me by the neck. Like he did like a chokehold kind of thing and like did a flip with me in his arms, like my neck in his arms, into the water, and you're supposed to like go with it. And I literally stood there stagnant, like I didn't even move with the flip. So I went really hard face down into the water, and the impact was so hard that like my whole body touched the bottom of the pool's floor. So it was like, I think it was like a 12-foot pool. So I was really down there. And as soon as I hit the water, mind you, I had goggles on at this time because I'm just completely inefficient in water, underwater. So as soon as I hit the water, the goggles come flying off because of the impact. And I literally at the bottom of the pool, and I was starting to see the white light. And I had no air left in my lungs. And I remember I came out of the water, I threw myself onto the concrete, and I was just coughing up all the water like they do in the movies. And it felt like the end. It did feel like the end. So That's why it's just Goggle City from here on out. Goggle City population 1, me. I don't care if I look like a Girl Scout or I look like I'm going to a child summer camp. It just is what it is. I'm going to make it a fashion statement. Mark my words. My safety comes first, and then fashion. In Florida, we also went to the Waffle House, and at the Waffle House, I was testing out a new thing called laughing with my shoulders. I wanted to see what the reaction would be. I did it, and everybody in my family was doing it. It's just you laugh, and then you shrug your shoulders up and down. And if I meet somebody like that does that naturally, I think that would be awesome. I think it's cool and different. And it just makes you feel really animated. So other than that little tidbit that I had to share, there was a waitress there at the Waffle House, and I'm going to change her name to protect her identity. So I'm going to call her Susie. But Susie at the Waffle House took her orders, and then she was smoking them weed pods in the back of the Waffle House. And then delivered our food to us. And then one of the people I went with to the Waffle House knew Susie personally and went on Susie's Facebook. And not only is Susie smoking her weed pod in the back of the Waffle House, but she's also having some issues with her baby daddy. I'm like, Susie, not on the job. Do better, do better. And in the back of the Waffle House, I mean the kitchen of the Waffle House. And then when we were leaving, 2 people are coming into the Waffle House with no mask. I think the hell not. You know, I slapped my mask on as soon as I was done eating, because I don't play that game of charades, of roulette. I don't play that game. My question is, when did it become okay to endanger the welfare of others at the Waffle House? During the trip, we also played Monopoly for 12 hours straight. I was told that me and my sister should have a show like the Kardashians because we are that interesting. Minus the, oh my god, because we don't talk like that, which is a plus. We went to see the Scientology building. Their Mecca is in Clearwater, Florida. So we drove by. I wanted to see it with my own 2 eyes, and I did. And they own a huge area of Clearwater. It looks like a fancy hotel. We drove by, and my family was blasting trap music. So that was a scene. That was a sight to see. And then there was one of the people who work there. They dressed like bellhops, and they were running around, and they were near the car, and I got really nervous. They had people walking in and out with paperwork, so I guess they're still inducting people into Scientology during the pandemic, which is interesting. Like I said, they own a whole neighborhood essentially, and it's all pastel colors. It's like the Trail to Happiness, the Agency of Freedom, and it looks like Toontown because it just, you could tell what's theirs and what's not because of the color scheme, and it was very, very surreal to see that in real life because I've been watching it on the Leah Remini series. But now that I've seen it with my own 2 eyes, it's a totally different story. My phone was on the other side of the room, so that's crazy. I literally have both my hands in fist form right now, and you guys have just witnessed what happened with me. So odd. Or is it? I'm going to move on from that because it is nighttime, and if I hear one noise that scares me even slightly, I'm going to go to my room. So I don't want to do that, so I'm going to move forward. After that, we went to a beach in Clearwater, which was really nice because it really wasn't packed. It was around sunset. We stayed for the sunset. I got slapped around by some salt water, and it was a beautiful way to end a vacation. One of my favorite highlights of the trip was when my little brother let me use his VR headset. On there's an app called Google Earth, and with Google Earth, you can go anywhere on the planet, essentially, and go visit it like Google Maps, but you can see it, and you could see it from afar and do street view and even go in some places. So it's so amazing. to be able to see these things up close. Truly breathtaking. And that Oculus Rift, or whatever it's called, that is the future. That is so cool. I was having so much fun that I went to France. I had tea and crumpets in France, and I had some snails, some of them escargots. I stood at the top of Mount Everest, Big Ben. I saw a solar eclipse happen, and I controlled the earth during the solar eclipse. I saw the Christ the Redeemer statue in Brazil. I walked into a desk. I hit my brother a few times. I don't know how, but I briefly ended up in somebody's bathroom in Britain. After that, I searched up Elizabeth, New Jersey, and I went to see my high school. I went to see my house. And I went to the club because I missed the club, so I went there virtually. Hashtag barcode life, you know it. And that place has a pool now, and I've seen videos of what happens in that pool that will never leave my mind. I know you want to know what I seen, so I'm going to say it. Somebody sent me a video, the infamous video, of two people eating ass in their pool. All this girl wants is to sing and dance in peace. Do I always have to be subjected to this horror? I've seen things. Give people some water that goes up to their ankles, and then you see their true colors. On a serious note, this week has been a really sad week for the world. Lisa Marie Presley's son killed himself. Kelly Preston died. And Naya Rivera passed. And that was really heartbreaking. Like, I loved Glee growing up. The show was on from 2009 to 2015. And the show really aligned with some of the most carefree times of my life. So I just have so many fond memories of watching her on that show with my little sister. And we would sing and we would dance. And that show inspired me in a lot of ways. That show brought me and my sister a lot of joy, and her character changed the lives of many people. She was so young and so talented, and the way that it happened was just absolutely devastating and heartbreaking, and I'm praying for her and her family and her son. Like I said, the show ended in 2015, and 3 of the cast members from the show have already passed. So that's really, really crazy. And the day that they found Naya was the 7-year anniversary of Corey Monteith's death. And I heard that they were very close, so that's just really crazy and just overall really, really, really sad. It's just really important to tell the people you love them when you have the opportunity to, and to let them know often and anytime you can. You let people know what they mean to you, because you really, truly never know in this life. So I'm going to make note of that and try my best to really be present and to do the things and say the things that are important in life. I'm just praying for everybody that I've mentioned earlier, and for anyone else that needs a prayer, I'm praying for you. Thank you so much for listening, and I will have another podcast episode up by the end of this week. So I will catch you soon, cousins. Bye.